Inserting a magazine and chambering a round is a really simple thing to do. What we're going to do is take our firearm, point it in a safe direction. We're going to rotate our palm up. We're going to take our magazine and drive it into the magazine well with the base of our hand and do that with force. You can hear it click in there. You want to make sure that this is seated all the way. If you have to, hit the bottom of the magazine to ensure that that magazine is seated. Now, there's a couple ways you can chamber around with the slide forward. One is going to be the slingshot method. We would rotate our palm down, pull the slide fully to the rear and let it go just like a slingshot. Just like that. Make sure that you do not walk the slide forward, just pull it back and let it go. Now another way you can chamber around with the slide forward would be to keep the gun pointed in a safe direction, reach over the top of your slide and rip it. We're going to rip the slide all the way to the rear while pushing the gun out, and we're going to chamber around just like that. Now there's also a couple ways you can chamber this round with the slide locked to the rear. I can obviously use my slide stop and just release it and let the slide go forward. Just be aware that sometimes that slide won't go fully into battery, and what I mean is it can lock up just like that, just enough where it doesn't fully go into battery, and you'll have to hit the back of the magazine back of the slide to make sure the slide goes forward into battery. And the other way you can chamber around if the slide is locked to the rear is that same rip technique. Reach over the top of the slide, pull back, and push forward at the same time. Just like that. So what device you actually end up using is going to be dependent on your personal preference. The ETS here is really fast if you're loading it from the ammunition from a box. One thing to make sure is you got to keep the magazine aligned once you set it in here and fully seated, because if you don't and it comes out, it's going to cause the whole thing to jam and it's not going to load up. Okay, so this one, you know, you need to have a little bit of experience or a little bit of practice using this to get it down right. The UpLULA, I love this thing. This device is incredibly, you know, intuitive to use. It's simple. It uses the same motion that you normally would loading a magazine, so it's really simple. It's well built. The springs are heavy duty. The plastic is really thick. It doesn't feel like it's going to break, and I just really like it. It's small. You can throw it in your range bag, and I love this thing. The Armory tool, it works. I don't know if it necessarily helps any better than, you know, using the round to press down, you know, when you use this tab, but you know, it works, and it definitely makes it as easy as using a round. And maybe you don't want to mar up your rounds or something like that, but this tool is a good tool. If you own an AR-15 or an M4, you have to have this thing. This thing, especially if you're loading up 30 round magazines and lots of them, this thing just makes loading a breeze. It goes so fast. Unloading is incredibly fast, so this thing is a must-have. So whatever you use, whether you use your thumbs or you use one of these devices, load up more, shoot more, get more training.